One of my pet peeves when it comes to eating boxed macaroni and cheese is you can tell that it's boxed macaroni and cheese. And to me, that's a turn off. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, meaty, cheesy mac and cheese that the pickiest eater is going to fall in love with. Not to mention, it's going to be a fraction of the cost because we're going to be using less cheeses. And if you do have kids, let me tell you, kids of today, they'll tell you like it is. If you're making chicken 3 nights in a row, mom, chicken again? So I'm going to show you how to definitely execute and make the most delicious, cheesy, meaty, boxed macaroni and cheese. It's a mouthful. Anyway, guys, let's get to cooking and let's get this pot rocking. These are the ingredients that we're going to be using for today's recipe. First thing you want to do using a medium or large pot is boil some water. Once you boil that water, we're going to introduce our bouillon. Now this is a couple tablespoons of bouillon simply because this is a lot of water. We're going to give it a quick stir. Make sure everything is combined. Once we're done, we're going to introduce our pasta. Add it on in there. Just in case I forgot to mention, this is a family size box of our favorite boxed mac and cheese. The brand that we're using, the box specified that we boil the pasta shells for about 8 to 10 minutes. However, I'm going to cook it for about 6 minutes until it's nice and al dente, simply because we're also going to be placing this delicious cheesy meaty mac and cheese into the oven. Gonna give it one more stir. Our macaroni is doing its thing, so to a large size skillet, I'm gonna add a small drizzle of oil, simply because I'm using a lean cut of beef. I'm just gonna take my spatula, spread the oil around the pan, and we're gonna add our beef. Whenever I pull this ground meat chopper out, I get a lot of questions as far as, Tammy, where did you get that ground meat chopper from? I'm definitely gonna link this in my Amazon storefront, so you can feel free to purchase it, because as you can see, it breaks the meat down so quickly, so easily and so quickly. All right, now that our meat is broken on down, I'm gonna swap my ground meat chopper for my spatula. Cook this meat on down until it's perfectly brown and there's no more pink pieces. If you're gonna be using a regular skillet with this recipe, you can definitely do that as well. Doesn't matter what type of skillet you use. The only thing I will say is because we're going to be putting this delicious cheesy meaty mac and cheese into the oven, all right, to bake on up. So I would definitely suggest that you use a heavy duty skillet, one that could withstand at least 30 yeah, right, 3,500 degrees. What? One that could actually withstand an oven temperature, Fahrenheit that is. I'm going to say Fahrenheit simply because I have a lot of international watchers that look at, you know, Cooking with Tammy. And here's the thing, if you just say 350 degrees, that could mean Celsius or Fahrenheit. So I'm going to be clear as far as you want your skillet to be able to withstand a heat intensity of 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I had one of my subscribers reach out to me a couple years back, and I forgot what it was he was making, but he's like, Tammy, I actually placed my oven on 350 degrees Celsius and he burned his food. I felt so bad. So after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I say Fahrenheit or Celsius. All right, our meat is cooking down perfectly. We have a little water going on in the pan. As you can see, we don't have much oil. Add oil in the pan because I did say that it's a lean cut of beef. All right, so we're just gonna continue stirring this on up. Not to mention, I kind of want some of that excess water that's retained at the bottom of the pan to dry on out as well. In the meanwhile, we need to drain and strain our pasta shells. After about 5 minutes, this is perfect. The water has definitely dried out of the pan, which is a great thing. It's about that time, guys. We are gonna add our finely chopped onions to the mix. Give this meat some flavor. We're gonna fold the onions on in. The seasonings that I chose that I know is going to bring out the ultimate flavor is going to be adobo. Add a good amount of adobo. This is 1 pound of ground meat. We're also going to add some garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, The paprika has no flavor to it, but it's definitely gonna give it some color. Add a good amount of paprika. And this is regular paprika. Can you add smoked paprika to this dish? Yes, you can. However, because it has that intense smoky flavor, I want you to add a small amount of smoked paprika if you opt to use smoked paprika over regular flavorless paprika. We're going to continue to stir this on up, make sure everything is well combined. Last but not least, we're going to add some Cajun seasoning. This is unsalted Cajun seasoning, so I'm going to add a good amount. It's only going to enhance the flavor. Stir that on up as well. We're also going to add our beef bouillon. Let's incorporate that. Also, stir that on in. This recipe is a universal, versatile recipe. All right, so if you don't want to use ground beef, you could use ground pork. If you don't want to use ground pork, you could opt to use turkey or even chicken. And it's still going to be yummy. All right, we have all of our dry seasonings added to this mix. We're going to take this opportunity to add some of our roasted garlic. Use whatever garlic you have. If you don't have garlic paste, you can definitely use fresh garlic. Or if you don't have that on hand, then just rock out with the garlic powder. Just incorporate that as well. All right, we're gonna add a small amount of tomato sauce. At least half the can should be good. Getting a little dry, so we're gonna add a little bit more. You know what, just add the whole can, all right? Add the whole can, why not? Mix it on in really good. Sometimes you gotta have a little fun with cooking. Play around with the flavors just a bit. Add, subtract, and just make this recipe yours. We're gonna add some cream cheese. Yeah, yes we are. We're gonna add about, okay, the cream cheese packet was about 8 ounces. So we're gonna add about 2 ounces of cream cheese because we want this meat to be nice and creamy as well. Gonna stir that on in, allow the cream cheese to break down. When you're cooking with Tammy, trust me, I'm gonna pull out some magic. All we're gonna be needing is basic ingredients, and we're gonna flip these basic ingredients and turn it into something so delicious. All right, this is perfect. We're gonna add some Rotelle. This Rotelle says hot. However, if you are going to be feeding kids or someone with a not so spicy palate, you definitely want to opt for the mild Rotelle. This Rotelle consists of tomatoes and habanero peppers. And habanero, if you don't know, could definitely be very spicy, especially if you leave those seeds on in. If you don't want to use Rotelle, like I said, especially if you're feeding kids, all right, and you find that the mild flavor is too hot or still too spicy, my suggestion to you would be to use a regular can of tomatoes. That would work perfectly fine as well. And if you want to add a little spice, then you can definitely control the heat factor. I'm going to allow this to come to a slow simmer. In the meanwhile, we are going to work on jazzing up our delicious mac and cheese. We're going to go ahead and add our packet cheese, or should I say cheese in a packet. Let's get it in there. Mix it on in, make sure everything is well combined. This is definitely one of those recipes that is so quick and easy to put together. In less than an hour, you be done. We're gonna add some of our milk. Start off with adding a small amount of milk first. Let's add just a tad bit more. For this recipe, use any type of milk, all right? If you want to use heavy cream, you can definitely do that as well. I've done that before. If you want to use half and half, you can definitely rock out with that as well. Whole milk, 2% milk, lactate-free milk, you name it. Any type of milk is going to be good and complementary to this recipe. All right, this is perfect consistency. We're gonna go ahead and take some of our grated cheese. Like I said, use any type of cheese that you prefer. This is sharp cheddar cheese because I want a contrast of flavors, all right? I want so many different flavors going on in this delicious cheesy mac and cheese that it's gonna be so good, so good. I can't emphasize on how delicious it's gonna be. I made this the other night. My kids and myself and hubby, we tore this thing down in a matter of minutes. We didn't even have leftovers. That's how quick we ate it. We're gonna take our beautiful mac and cheese and we're gonna add it to our minced meat. Yes, we are. Just like that. Get all of that delicious cheese sauce in there as well. All right, we need all the saucy sauce we could get. Once we're done, we're just gonna incorporate the meat with the mac and cheese. It's not only all about flavor, but it's also about presentation as well. When you're cooking, you can't be scared. I know a lot of us, we're very scared when it comes to adding seasoning, measurements, and stuff like that, right? What's the measurement on this? What's the measurement on that? And a lot of times, if we just go out on a whimsical and just season to taste, just add and incorporate, a lot of times our dishes will come out perfectly fine. We don't need measurements for everything, all right? Remember I told you that, we don't need measurements for everything. All right, now that this is perfectly situated in this skillet, just as if it couldn't get any better, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sprinkle on our grated cheddar cheese on top. Get a nice big handful, nice big chunky chunk of cheese. And we're gonna add it to our preheated 350-degree oven and allow the cheese to melt on down until it's nice and bubbly. And that's about it. Once we're done, I'm gonna show you how it comes out because I want you to definitely make this recipe at home, and I also want you to see what it looks like once you take it out, because like I said, your girl is not only big on flavor, but I'm big on presentation as well. Our cheesy meaty mac and cheese is fresh out of the oven after about 15 minutes, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I can guarantee you it came out beautiful. Just by looking at it, you can tell. It's that time. It's time for our taste test, and I can't wait to dig on in and indulge. We're just gonna hit our plate off with some chives as well. Let's get it. I can't wait to dig in. It's hot. I know you can see the steam that's coming from it, but we're just gonna blow on it. If you've never had Southwestern flavor before, this right here is it. When I tell you, absolutely smooth and creamy with that little hint of spice. So delicious, so delicious. Not to mention the perfectly flavored meat that's incorporated with that delicious cheese sauce. Let me tell you something. Who on God's green earth is gonna know that this came from a box? That's what I'm talking about. All right, being able to take boxed mac and cheese and turn it into something that tastes so delicious. I've been to many different restaurants, five-star restaurants, all types of restaurants, and I've had mac and cheese that, you know, the restaurant owner or whatever, they use, like, let's say maybe 6 different cheeses. You know how it is, 6 different cheeses in one mac and cheese, and still can't compare to this boxed mac and cheese. This is so good, guys. Just the perfect hint of spice, like I said before. Perfect amount of flavors. It's not overpowering. It's just so delicious. Now here's the thing. I'm going to leave all of the description. Yeah, really. The food has me talking nuts, right? I'm going to leave all of the recipe information in the description bar. All you got to do is when you go to the video, under the video, you're going to see something that says more, right? You're going to click on that. The drop box is going to open on up. And once it opens up, it's going to display the recipe. And that's about it, guys. As always, I'm your girl cooking with Tammy. We definitely showed out when it came to making this delicious cheesy meaty mac and cheese. It is so good. Definitely give it a try. Can guarantee your picky eaters are gonna definitely appreciate this recipe. Anyway, guys, as always, I'm your girl cooking with Tammy. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and also if you want any of my seasonings, the link would be in the description bar. All you have to do is click on it. It's going to take you directly to my website. If you haven't tried any of my seasonings so far, I don't know what you're waiting for, because my seasonings are bomb. Your girl is all about taste and flavor. You hear me? I bring a lot of flavor to the table. Don't play. I'm going to go devour this plate of delicious cheesy meaty mac and cheese. And until next time, definitely catch you in another video. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.